Good morning, it is Phoenix Amore. So I wanted to kind of dive a little bit into the whole dream I had last night because it's funny. The one thing that also happens is that as God is showing me certain things, it's also meant for me to talk about certain topics in regards to that. So the irony of it is a lot of my female friends know and have seen me keep it moving on some attractive men. And the problem is this, and this is something I want to dive into. There's a couple of things and themes you're going to notice in what I'm speaking about this morning. First of all, let me basically tell some folks being young and being married that first time, right? And it's a human nature thing. I want people to understand something about this. Some of the younger people watching the videos that I put out. I got married very young because of the fact that I had this child. And so one of the things that started taking place with me is the responsibility of mom, being responsible for being a wife, all that stuff hitting the young lady at once. I actually did pretty good at it, just to be frank. And that's the one thing my family saw, like, damn, Kat got in there when she had her baby. And it's true, because I was like, I'm mom, I'm wife, hey, I gotta just do what I need to do. But here's the thing, not being that far removed from the church now. When I say that term, being removed from the church, what I mean is still trying to process what's being taught in church versus what's appropriate as a wife. This is an adult video. I'm not going to be using bad language or talking pornographic or anything like that. You already know how I roll in that respect. This is purely one of those things where, as I hit 30, looking back at that marriage, I said, being in the church from a sexual standpoint, it is one of those things where some wives do struggle with what's appropriate behavior in the bedroom. And so that's something that was a little bit of a theme with that first marriage. And so ironically enough, when he went on a job, and this happens a lot of times, I need people to understand where that curiosity about somebody opposite of what they would normally be with, wife material, whatever you would call it. This lady was for real an ex-stripper and a little dark skinned than me. She had a big old ghetto, I call it ghetto booty, y'all know that term, and wavy weave and all this kind of stuff. And I remember when I saw her, it was one of those things. First of all, she did her little magic. Okay, this is where I talk to people about the true nature of some ex-strippers. Some of them have learned to be manipulative to get money. That's their nature. If you're too naive to understand that nature, I don't know what to tell you. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at him like, you a fool. She's looking at this house, she's looking at these cars, she's thinking you are the one that has made this happen, and it's been me. So for me, I'm one of these people that even from young, let situations play out. Now, I went through my hot-headed moments after we split up behind that girl because of the fact that, it became one of those things where I was pissed off because I'm like, you know what? I went through all the same emotions that second ex went through with me. People don't understand. That's why I halfway was tolerant with him until he grabbed my arm that night. And I had to go and hit him. But it was one of those things where I'm really understanding the emotions of that. Now, I left that first marriage. He wanted to save the marriage, but understand it was after that whole thing where I knew about this girl and her being an ex-stripper and all that I was like, I couldn't get past it. But even more so, we moved. This is the thing I need people to understand about that first marriage, because people think it's all about me saying, oh, I keep it moving quick. No, we actually moved to Fort Worth because I'm thinking, all right, if we relocate, we have a fresh start. Somewhere he wanted to go. I agreed, listen ladies, to give up my career, right? I was in IT. His mom was like, it'd be really nice if you stayed home with the boys. Now, understanding people's motivation, she worked all the time. So her mind was like, you know what? I feel like I made the mistake. I worked too much. And now for my grandsons, it'd be nice to have their mother at home. It was not that I minded that concept. I really didn't trust him. And this is the thing when people say she's so strong-willed and stubborn. No, I didn't trust him because I'm knowing already he had this whole thing with this woman. We're moving to a new area. He gonna be on another job, and I'm like, see how this gonna go. And I did, ladies. I went online and I made a fake account, and I hit him up. I think it was Black Planet, whatever site it was at the time, acting like I was somebody else, and he took the bait. Didn't think twice about it. I was so disgusted because here was a situation where I moved to try to save the marriage, and no quicker than what, week or two into us moving. Here he is online thinking he chatting with somebody and that was a wrap for me. And I waited till he was asleep one night, and I packed up the boys and everything I could fit in my car, boom, and I was back home. That's really how that worked out. So when people look at me, you don't know all the dynamics of everything, all the decisions that I made in situations. So when people say, oh, she's been single forever, because I took the time to take my time and really understand all this stuff that I experienced. Now with the second marriage, understand, another attractive man, hazel eyes, he would be the type of guy, right? He was Mr. Ugly Duckling. He had his little blossom, whatever, right as we got married. Okay, whatever, it is what it is. So when people look at him, they see this light skin mixed dude with these hazel eyes, and he's attractive, and he gets on the job. And see, this is the thing when I'm saying he was naive, because I'm knowing women, right? And I'm stepping back on, I'm seeing him starting to shift up a little bit, attitude, he getting a little bit more like, well, okay. So I'm letting stuff ride out, knowing and seeing behaviors in him that I recognize very quickly. But I didn't say much about it. Only the one night when this one lady brought him home and he was all extra late, and I'm looking at him going, okay, he didn't call, there was no call, there was nothing. And so I'm peeping this stuff, and I'm peeping these women. When he took me to an event at that same job, the vibe, you know, women are stupid. Some women, as wife, I'm already picking up y'all little vibe, and they're looking at me, no telling again what he had been saying. I don't know, because again, when people like attention, right, or they're starting to get new attention, they could be saying whatever. So again, a situation where people didn't probably know that I was more the breadwinner in that marriage too. So it is what it is. So now when all this comes to a head, and you have these dynamics start to break the marriage up, okay, you're going to have these same stupid women, because what happens? Somebody going to pick up that phone and they need advice. They're going to call 5 and 6 people talking about the situation, the cat and she's blah, blah, blah. So if they have agendas, if they're attracted, or whatever they may be thinking, their advice is going to be jacked up based on that alone. And he, naive, did not get it. Or maybe he wasn't naive, it didn't even matter. But he got left. And so all the tactics and trying to make me jealous and this women and all this other kind of stuff, it didn't work. And that's what they did not understand. So they'd be pumping him full of crap, like, oh, she gonna see you, she gonna miss you, and blah, blah, blah. But that's not how that goes. I'm very grounded when I was assessing how that crumbled. Once I crossed the line of indiscretion, right, I knew, because I know me. I tell people all day long, and that's real. If I could cheat, I knew it was time to go. That's after all that mess, that's after MTV, all that stuff had happened. And so when I shut down emotionally, finally, it for real is like a light switch, bloop, and I was like, okay, if I could do this, I'm gone. And so the situation was not as cut and dry as what some people love to try to say it was. That's why when his mom at the time was always saying, we know how she moved, I'm just laughing, because I'm like, honey, you forgot her. No, she didn't forget, because I didn't share with her too much. When I'm like, yeah, all those little women on that one job that he was on that were all up his butt because they think he's so attractive, and you didn't see his behavior changing and all this stuff going on in my household. I call it mine now because of the fact that I was the one running it and having to do everything. So all this stuff and all this gossip that was going on, I couldn't even care. So yes, ladies, there have been a couple of attractive men that I've left. And so I'm saying this to the men so you know too. Some women do think like that. Some women did and have many, even in my family, many a woman has said, we can't believe so-and-so was still cute and so-and-so was so cute and you left him. Yes, because there is no price on peace. Looking at somebody, even if they look good, is not going to bring you peace. I don't care what anybody says. So just for men to know, some women do think like that. So all this stuff, when they say only men objectify women, some women objectify men. Trust me, I know. That's why I stay so even keel. Even when you see me looking at certain situations, I can step back, see man's side, see woman's side, see baby mama's side, see baby daddy's side. All these things and these experiences that I've had for a reason, so that when I am talking to folks about stuff, they know, okay, she's saying that because she's been through some stuff. Yes, at 40, really I've been through enough experiences to where I should be, my mindset about 60. Not boring 60, but just kind of like, okay, look, I don't have time to deal with some of this stuff. So trust me, the end part of that dream, as the women were shocked, and this is how vivid the dreams are. They were looking dumbfounded. The guy was ticked off because he was like, I did everything y'all told me to do, and this completely backfired on me. that is really how I move, because I'm like, if you let them manipulate and do that, let's say we end up in a marriage, that would not be a healthy marriage, not a path I'd go down. You guys take care.